Hello and welcome to One Cool Thing. I'm Alex Clone and I'm here with Angela Mascaratolo. And today we are talking about the new second generation Nest Hub. Now the new Nest Hub, it's $99 and it is the second version of what was originally called, Angela, help me remember the name of the very first time the Nest Hub was released. What was it called?
The Google Home Hub.
Yes, Google Home Hub, not quite as elegant to say. Google later renamed it the Nest Hub. They dropped the price of the original from $150 to $90. But now there's a new second version. It's $99.99. And the main idea is that this one now tracks your sleep. There are some other improvements too that we'll get to. We'll go over those. But Angela, do you want to just give us first a general rundown of the new Nest Hub and what's different between it and the first version?
Absolutely. So we're here in my bedroom today. Last time we spoke, we were in my living room because we were talking about the Wise bulbs. So now we're in the bedroom because I have the new, and I'm going to move my camera so you can see it right there on my bedside table. That is the new Nest Hub, and you can see how nice and small it is. It's perfectly sized for my bedside table. Granted, my bedside table is a little bit big, but even if you have a smaller one, it's not going to take up too much space. So you can see it's got a really nice screen on it for all your smart home controls. All your Google Assistant powered devices or compatible devices are going to be controllable through this. So it's small, it has a small footprint, and I also, to compare it, I'll show you, I have the Amazon Echo Show 8 here on my other nightstand. So the Echo Show 8 does take up more room. The back of it is a lot more bulky than the Nest Hub, and I'll show you. So it's very thin. It's got like this part on the bottom. You can see it's got this fabric. I have the mist color. So it comes in 4 different colors, the light gray, the dark gray, the mist, which is what I have, and sand, which is like a tan. And they match the colors of the Nest thermostat, which I also.
And now let me just interrupt you for a minute. So for the people that are watching, now if you're unfamiliar with what the Nest Hub is, it's a smart display. And I know what Angela was just holding up, it sort of looks like it's a tablet attached to a base. That is not entirely incorrect, but it's essentially a hub through which you can access, in this one you can access Google Assistant because it is Google's hub. And you can also do things like control your smart home devices, and it can tell you the time and other things like that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way now, what a smart display is in general.
Yes, absolutely. So that's actually my favorite thing about it, is that it gives me all of my smart home controls by voice or on one screen. Like I could always open the apps on my phone when I want to control my Wise bulbs or my Nest thermostat, but this puts them all on one screen right at the bedside. I don't have to grab the phone. I don't have to open the app, just a couple of taps, or I use my voice to control them. So I'll say, hey, Google. Hey, Google, turn off my bedroom lights. And there you go. Hey, Google, turn on my bedroom lights. And you see how quick it is, very quick. I find that I actively use Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa, and the Google Assistant response times are actually, they tend to be faster, and you can have more conversational type of commands, which is nice. Sometimes you have to say it just so with Alexa, or it won't quite understand you. But the difference here is that, so while I like that about Google Assistant, you may not have support for all of your smart home devices. Like I also use a Furbo, the treat tossing dog camera, and I use a Hamilton Beach smart coffee maker, and those both work with Alexa only, so I can only control them by voice with my Alexa speaker. So I can't do that on the Google smart speaker, smart display.
Right. So that's something that's important to keep in mind when you're buying a smart display or when you're buying a smart speaker. And it's the type of voice control ecosystem that you want to use. If you're just deciding it for the first time, you'll want to take a look at the products that you currently own and see which do they support. If most of them support Alexa, but not Google Assistant, then it probably makes more sense to get an Echo device, which all use Alexa, which you see right there, the Echo Show.
Yep.
But if you have a bunch that use Google Assistant and say you use a Android phone, you might prefer to go the Google route. So that, I would say, is probably your number one thing to consider. And it is true that Alexa does support more smart home brands than Google does. But I will say over the last couple of years, Google has really caught up. It's getting super close. There are still some cases, as you mentioned. But for the most part, if you're just starting out, I would say you can totally go either way. It would mostly be based on your own preference.
Yeah, so that brings me to some of the improvements on this model compared to the last one. So one of them is a machine learning chip that basically caches your common voice commands on the device for quicker response times in the future. And I'm talking about the Google Assistant response times and how good they are. Now they're even going to be better. So I love that. Quick gestures, a feature that lets you, like if you have an alarm, you can set alarms on this for morning, and then you can just wave your hand in front of the display in the morning, and that will snooze your alarm instead of having to like touch anything. Or if you have it in the kitchen, you can, if your hands are dirty, you can use those quick gestures to like pause a recipe video. 50% more bass. One of our big complaints about the first model was its weak audio quality, and it's still not, it's still not the best compared to the Echo Show 8 that I have on my other bedside table. The audio on the new Nest Hub is not as good, but it's better than it was. So we'll take the improved bass, and then no camera still. So that's basically gonna give you, I guess, comfort to put it in your bedroom. But also the Amazon version, it has a privacy slider. So I think that should alleviate most privacy concerns about the camera for people. But so it would be nice if this one had a camera for video calls. It still doesn't. But the big thing is the sleep sensing, and it does this without any contact with the body. It doesn't require you to wear anything on your wrist, and it doesn't do it with a camera. It does it with a motion sensor. So what it has inside is a Google solely motion sensor, and the new Nest thermostat also has one of these as well, to where if you walk in front of the thermostat, it will light up the display. So it uses it that way. So it uses the motion sensor to track your sleep. You have to have it on your bedside table positioned just so. So it has to be like almost in line with your mattress. And then it has to be facing towards your torso. But in my testing, the sleep sensing actually works. And I tested it against a Polar Ignite 2 fitness tracker, and Polar is known for their accuracy. So I got very similar results from about the duration and quality of my sleep from the Polar watch and the Google Nest Hub. So when it comes to that, it's very good. It does not track your sleep stages. So a lot of times wearables, most of them will tell you how much time you spent in light, deep, and REM sleep. You're not going to get that here, but what you do get, which is also really cool, is that motion sensor is so sensitive that it can even detect the thoracic movement of breathing. So it tracks your respiration rate. In the morning, it'll tell you how many breaths you took a minute, so you can kind of compare that over time. And then it also has a built-in microphone to allow you to talk to Google Assistant, but also it uses that microphone at night when you're sleeping to record or to measure any coughing and any snoring, and it processes that information on the device, so it's not gonna send it to Google servers. And then in the morning, it'll give you like a sleep summary. how long you slept, how well you slept, and then any coughing, how many minutes you were snoring, and then your respiration rate. And then after like about a couple days to a week, it'll start giving you a report, and it'll say, so for me, I usually wake up at like 6:30 in the morning every weekday. And then on the weekend, I woke up at like 9:30, I slept in. And then this thing, it gave me it was like the effects of sleeping in. And it was like giving me this whole lecture of saying, even if you go to bed late on like a Friday night, on Saturday morning, you should wake up at the same time you do during the work week. And so I don't know if that's going to happen for me, but it's interesting to get those insights. So the sleep tracking on it, it works, and it's very cool. I like it. And
So
I
that,
think great option though for people who aren't comfortable with wearing a watch to bed.
and the sleep tracking works automatically. Like you just go to bed and it records your sleep.
Yes, so you have to set it up and calibrate it when you first are setting it up, but and that involves making sure it's placed correctly at the correct angle, it's facing towards you, that it's within arm's length of you, and that you don't have anything between you and the sensor. So you can't have like your light or your water bottle in between you and the display, or it can't see you. So you have to kind of make sure you have that area clear in between you and the display. And what it does is the motion sensor creates like a tracking bubble around your side of the bed. So if you sleep with somebody else, it's not going to track them because you're doing that initial calibration where it's just going to have you get the device into place, and then you lay down and it'll calibrate. It'll say where you normally sleep, lay down right now, and it just takes like a minute or so, and then it will be calibrated to you. So then if you have somebody else in the bed, it's not going to track their sleep, just yours. So if they want sleep tracking, they're going to have to get their own on their side of the bed. But the audio for the snoring and the coughing, if you have somebody else in the bed who is coughing and snoring, it might attribute their coughing and snoring to you. So you'll kind of need to like sleep alone, or if you know that you don't snore and that person snores, you'll know. But Google says it's working on that to try to avoid that from happening. It does happen right now, where if you have a co-sleeper that snores, it'll say that snoring was yours. But other than that, it's very cool. You don't need to do anything. I like it.
And when you wake up, all of your information is just there, right on the screen?
Yeah, so there's a home screen, and then so it will put, there's a home screen, and it'll put all your information right there. It'll say your sleep duration. You can click on it for more information. And then there's also a wellness tab where you can find all of your sleep data, and then all your report basically. And then it also syncs that information to the Google Fit app on your phone, so you can go back and kind of track it over time and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it works. It's very cool. And it's sort of like Google is positioning this as the perfect device for your bedroom, for your nightstand.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the more expensive Nest Hub Max, which is like $229, which does have the camera for video calls. It has a larger screen, 10 inches, and then it has better audio, but it does not have sleep sensing. So, I wouldn't really want to put a big device like that on the bedside table anyway. So the Nest Hub Max is kind of better positioned for maybe your living room, or if you have a large kitchen, your kitchen. Whereas the new Nest Hub with the sleep sensing, it's really great for your bedside table. Now, keep in mind, sleep sensing is only free until the end of the year, the end of 2021. So 2022 and beyond, you may have to pay extra for it. So Google is still working that out, what the pricing is going to be. Are they going to integrate this as part of Fitbit plans? Because Google now owns Fitbit as well. So they said they're working that out, what the pricing will be. We'll see.
So
but for now, you get to try it for free.
Right. So you have, if you buy one now, you have until the end of the year. We're filming this in March, so there's plenty of time if you want to use it for free. And based on that, based on everything that we just discussed, we gave the Nest Hub 4 stars and an Editor's Choice Award. We are saying that it is our basically favorite smart display that uses Google Assistant. So we recommend it more highly than the Nest Hub Max. But then again, if you're looking for something that you want to put in the living room, or that you want your kids to watch Netflix on, then the Nest Hub Max makes more sense. And conversely, if you're an Alexa user, you're still better off with one of the Echo shows. But if you do use Google Assistant and you're looking for something that you want to put on the bedside table, we really like the Nest Hub Max, and we highly rate it.
Absolutely. Like my home has been getting smarter and smarter. I have a, smart light bulb, smart thermostat, and I've been wanting something like this for, maybe a couple months now. And then when they came out with this, I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I want. Cause I like the slim design of it. And I'm going to show you the Echo Show. Okay. Let me unplug it, because look at how bulky this one is. This is the Echo Show 8. I had to unplug it to get it over here, but so it's that compared to, and granted the Echo Show 5 is the one that's better suited for the bedside table, but here's your size difference, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely way better suited for bedside table. And I love the display. It looks great. Google has its curated images that you can put as the background, or you can have it cycle through any images that you have in Google Photos, or you can just have it display the clock in full screen mode and your choice of clock faces. So it's very cool. It's a very nice thing to have in your bedroom if you have a lot of other smart devices in your home. It makes it very convenient to control all of them.
All right, well, I think that about concludes it. It's the Nest Hub, $99, and we gave it 4 stars and an Editor's Choice Award. You can see our full review on pcmag.com, and we will see you again the next time on One Cool Thing.
Thank you.